good evening, this is Hound Dog Steve, and finally I've had some time to sit down, get behind the camera and talk about some of the incredible events that are taking place, certainly over in England and Europe. Now we've seen Theresa May has stepped down from the Conservative Party as the leader, although she's remaining leader until a new leader has been chosen. And of course that is a complete disarray. There are 10 people now trying to vie for that position, and you'll see why as I go through their priorities and who they are, why the Conservative Party is having a very difficult time. In fact, it's really facing a revolution from within. Now, Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the Labour Party, is in the same position. He is facing a revolt from within, and he is bleeding members left, right and centre. And most of this is around, not only his position on Brexit, but also his position on Israel and anti-Semitism, which seems to have certainly been a focus and a concern with many of the Labour Party members, and so they have formed their own independent party. Most of the other smaller parties are really just sort of sniping from the sidelines, but Brexit, not only have they won the majority of seats in the EU, they are now topping the poll in a nationwide poll of Britain, and so it's looking more and more like Nigel Farage could be the next Prime Minister of the UK. And why would that be? Well, amid all the confusion and the throng of voices that are coming from the sniping parties from left and right, this is the only clear voice. And you have to remember that psychology plays a big part with people. You know, when your leaders seem unsure, when they're facing divisions with their own party, it's very difficult for them to have faith in those leaders. And as that faith wanes, they look for the strong voice, and it doesn't matter whether it is a populist voice or not. It is that strong, clear, clarion voice that heralds good leadership. Now, I'm not saying that Nigel Farage is going to be a good leader, but I'm saying that that is what attracts people. People like to follow somebody who is clear in their mind, has a strong focus, and can connect with the people. And like him or not, this is exactly what happened with Donald Trump. He connected to the people. He connected with those things that people are really concerned about. And as I said many times before, when a party loses focus and starts to follow these lofty ideals and falls away from the general public, you know as a member of the public, you know as an individual, when you're getting the cold shoulder from somebody, you know when your concerns are not being addressed. And as I say, you'll see when I run through the list of highlights of the candidates for the Conservative Party, you can see that they just don't seem to relate to the plight of the ordinary individual. And really a big part of the individual's problem is the growing cost of living. Inflation is creeping up all the time, and that is not being dealt with. And really, everyone is trying to save money in the corporate world by cutting wages or holding that down to the absolute minimum. And at the same time, the financial system that we have is creating the need to run faster and faster and faster to stay in the same place. Well, something has to give. And I think people are actually reaching their limit. They have got technology fatigue. They are worried to death about their jobs. They can see AI creeping into every avenue of their lives. And this concern is driving the public towards people who seem to recognize their concerns and seem to want to get off that pedestal and come down and talk to the everyday person. And you can see by the kind of things that the governments are doing to silence the voice of the public by whatever means are necessary, and also to interpret that through the mainstream media. And of course those interpretations, as I've seen, are not exactly what I would call the burning issues of the day for the general public. And so it is getting more and more difficult for people to voice their concerns, and they do have some serious concerns about the real issues going on in their countries, and until they're addressed, we are going to see growing unrest. And my predictions from last year for this year were: number 1, yellow vest protests; number 2, banking issues across the world. And what are we seeing? Yellow vest issues continuing. I think they're into week 30 now in France, and absolute confusion amongst the regular parties. Anyway, let's go over and take a look at these couple of stories that I have picked up on, and we'll come back and I'll do a quick wrap up. Okay, here we go. BBC News, shortlist for leader. Tory leadership recap, what happened today? That's it from us today. Here's a summary of what's been a rather frenetic day. The final 10 candidates for the Tory leadership race have been confirmed. These leadership hopefuls will now face the first ballot on June 13th. Sam Gyimah, the only contender backing another referendum on Brexit, withdrew from the race, saying there was not enough time to build support. Michael Gove faced ongoing pressure after he admitted taking cocaine in the late 90s before entering politics. Frontrunner Boris Johnston promised to cut income tax bills from people earning more than £50,000 a year. Sajid Javid received an endorsement from Scottish Conservative leader Ruth Davidson. Matt Hancock pledged to increase the national living wage to more than £10 an hour. Esther McVeigh promised to give public sector workers at an event that was interrupted by a pro-Brexit heckler. We're not quite sure what she promised to give public sector workers. Dominic Raab unveiled plans to redirect £500 million a year from the aid budget to create an international wildlife fund. And Jeremy Hunt has ruled out any changes to abortion law if he becomes PM, as he launched his campaign. Mr Johnson is tonight reportedly addressing the 92 group of Tory MPs, a rather obscure but quite influential group of the right-wing party. Here's what the Telegraph's Stephen Swineford thinks he will be telling them. Boris Johnson's pitch to the 92 group of Tory MPs is simple: he will win the next general election. I will get our great party to deliver when it comes. I repeat, when it comes, an election victory. Rory Stewart, I am the anti-Boris candidate. Oh yes, looks like a real winner. International Development Secretary Rory Stewart has described himself as the anti-Boris Johnson candidate. I think I am the only person who can beat him. We are facing a very, very fundamental choice, he said. That choice is between Boris's Brexit and my Brexit, between somebody who is attempting to out-Farage and somebody like me who believes in the centre ground. And here we are from The Guardian. A Brexit party tops Westminster election poll for first time. Survey by Opinium suggests Nigel Farage would be 20 seats short of a majority, with Conservatives reduced to 26 MPs. And no wonder Nigel is laughing and clapping. And this is him celebrating being elected to the European Parliament. Nigel Farage's Brexit party has surged into first place as voters' favourite, according to a new poll. It is the first time the party has achieved top position in a national poll. The results suggest hundreds of Conservative seats are at risk. The Brexit party support increased by 2 points to 26% of the vote in the latest opinion poll for The Observer, which asked people how they would vote in the next Westminster election. Labour is in second place with 22%, but its support has fallen by 7 points over the past 2 weeks. And I might point out that the Brexit party has only been around for 2 months. So here we are, Brexit party at 26, look at that, right out in front. They've added 2, Labour's lost 7%, Conservative down to 17. This is the end of a party level. The Liberal Democrats with 16, they've gone up by 5. You could see the top 3 parties as being Brexit, Labour and Liberal Democrat. Greens are at 11, SNP, UKIP 1, Plaid Cymru 1, they've plus 1, Change UK minus 2, other party 1, no change. So these are the dominant parties, and Nigel Farage is just leaping ahead in an incredible way. According to a seat predictor by the Electoral Calculus website, the result would leave Farage 20 seats short of a majority with 306 MPs. The Conservatives will be reduced to 26 MPs, suggesting they could be in the minor party in a coalition with Farage. However, inconsistent swings in different seats make any such predictions very difficult. And we've had the same thing in Canada. There is good news for the Greens, who are up 8 points to 11% of the vote, but not all the news for the pro-Remain parties is positive. Change UK recorded just 1% support, down 2 points on Opinion's previous poll. Most Remain voters, 54%, said that Change UK's MPs should join the Liberal Democrats to present a unified front against Brexit. Well, I don't think that is going to happen. Theresa May and Labour's Jeremy Corbyn continue to have incredibly low ratings on the question of who would make the best Prime Minister. Both are on only 15%, with a record 60% failing to back either party leader. On balance, 45% of the public think May has done a bad job as Prime Minister, with only a quarter, 24%, saying she has done a good job. In the Tory leadership race, Boris Johnston has the most support, 24% among Conservative voters, to be the party's next leader. The other standout choice is Michael Gove with 14%. So I would suggest again to anyone who would want to be a leader in this world today, had better understand that canny psychology of the general public. And they may not be getting the whole picture. I don't think any of us can get the whole picture, but you know what, when you drive down a road every day, you know every single pothole in that road. And when the person who's in charge of fixing potholes is looking in the other direction, and for years and years and years is not recognizing your call to fix those potholes, well, you get to notice that kind of stuff. And those issues build up and get under your skin, and then you have a revolt on your hands, and all of a sudden people are voting in different directions that you never anticipated. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, comment and subscribe below, and share. Please share. It really helps when you share this video with your friends, because the way the YouTube algorithms are working these days, they're not sharing in the same way, and I'm finding that I'm not getting the same kind of circulation. So if you could do that, I would really appreciate it. And in the meantime, this is Hound Dog Steve signing off, and we shall indeed talk very, very shortly. Okay, you take care now. See ya. Bye.